structure of the judiciary. The Constitution of India provides single integrated, एक दूसरे से जुड़े हुए, integrated, जुड़े होना, disintegrated, टूटना. So our judicial system is under the single integrated judicial system. Right. This means that unlike some other federal countries, federal means where the power has been divided. Power is not being, in one hand. We are the federal country. Federal country means where we have got the central government also, we have got the state government also, we have got the local government also, and now we have got the panchayat government also. So federal countries of the world, India does not have separate state courts. Separate state courts we don't have. We have got the high courts. We don't have the state courts, right? The structure of the judiciary in India is paramedically with the Supreme Court. Supreme Court, we call it apex court also. Supreme Court means apex court. AP, wherever sometimes it is not written Supreme Court, it is apex court. Apex court means Supreme Court. So with the Supreme Court at the top, High Court below, and the district and subordinate courts are below that High Courts. Okay, right? The lowest court. See the diagram below. We will discuss it. The lower courts function under the direct subordinate of higher courts. Direct subordinate. First of all, Supreme Court. We will do this with this flow chart given in our book, and on this flow chart we will start with this. Now, first of all is we have got the Supreme Court. Its decisions are binding to all courts of India. Throughout India, we have got the to its. Every state is having high court. Issue writs from restoring fundamental rights. Your fundamental rights are given assured by the Supreme Court. Writs means appeal karna. To writ, to appeal karna, to case karna, किसी के ऊपर writ डालना, appeal karna to the higher court. So can issue a writ for the restoring fundamental rights. ऑर्डर जारी कर सकती है, रिट जारी कर सकती है कि अदर कोर्ट के कि आप अपना सपोज फंडामेंटल राइट हैज बीन curtailed or violated, the High Court can direct to its lower courts that you have to give the fundamental right to the citizens of India, except emergency order, emergency, maybe external emergency and internal emergency. Your fundamental rights cannot be violated. You have a sixth fundamental right, it will be sixth fundamental right. Your fundamental right and any other person's fundamental right, they are the equal. Right? You choose your government and the Rashtrapati also use its own fundamental right. So fundamental rights are equal for everyone. In this way, कानून सबके लिए बराबर है. हम कानून के सामने बिल्कुल बराबर है. So Nexus can deal with the cases within the jurisdiction of the state. उस jurisdiction के हरियाणा jurisdiction, इसमें हरियाणा, पंजाब and हरियाणा का हाई कोर्ट है, it is in चंडीगढ़. इस jurisdiction में कुछ भी घटना होती है, anything happens, this high court can give the decision to its people, to its citizens, right? That's why you have the Aadhaar card. In Aadhaar card, it is clearly written when you are born, in which state you are born. It's written over there. That's why a number is given also. That Aadhaar card is the identity. That this is you are the valid citizen of India, and you have got the fundamental rights given by the Constitution of India. Right? So this is there. Can deal with the cases within the jurisdiction of the state. Next is exercise superintendence and control over courts below it. और जितने भी courts हैं उसके अंदर, High Court, जितने हरियाणा में courts हैं, district courts हैं. Thus, Panipat is the district. If we have a district session judge. Karnal is a district. We have got the district session judge of Karnal. So they are under the High Court of that particular state. Am I clear? Next is district courts. अभी हम district की बात करेंगे. District court deals with the cases arising in that particular district. कभी कभी आपने सोचा, you have heard that police said it's not in our district. This has happened in Mahendragarh, it happened in Karnal. Karnal police, or that particular state, that particular district police, state is as Haryana, and district police will deal with that. हर एक का अपना अपना district. So that is there. Considers appeals on the decisions given by the lower courts. So her district court जो है district के नीचे भी lower courts है, वो उसी के decision को देखते हैं. Suppose something happen, A is a person, इसके ऊपर case उसने डाल रखा, किसी ने किया हुआ है or something. तो suppose उसने district के ऊपर case कर रखा है, high court के ऊपर case के साथ उसकी confrontation चल रही है. So if he is not satisfied with the orders of a lower court, he can go to district court. If he is not satisfied, then he go to the high court. If again he is not satisfied, then he can go to the Supreme Court. And again, if he is not satisfied with the Supreme Court, then put the review petition. So there are a lot of chances because this is a democratic country. Yes, review petition हो सकता है. Supreme Court में भी 2 बार हो सकता है. Or if the case is very much under the consider, they can file again a review petition. Now this is a discretion of the Supreme Court that he accept the review petition or not. Okay.
तो third time नहीं हो सकता.
Depend करता है Supreme Court के. First time में तो review petition होगा. सेकेंड टाइम में वो सुप्रीम कोर्ट के ऊपर डिपेंड करता है कि उसकी रिव्यू पिटीशन को एक्सेप्ट करे या ना करे. सो सबऑर्डिनेट कोर्ट कंसीडर केसेस ऑफ सिविल एंड क्रिमिनल कोर्ट, राइट. वन इज सिविल कोर्ट इज देयर व्हेन द क्रिमिनल कोर्ट केसेस है. क्रिमिनल केसेस मार पिटाई, खून खराबा, अगेन मर्डर वगैरह, दीस आर द क्रिमिनल. सिविल कोर्ट में आपके जो चीजें जायदाद में property, right? So these are there. Jurisdiction of Supreme Court. The Supreme Court. Okay. Thank you. The jurisdiction of Supreme Court. The Supreme Court of India is one of the very powerful courts anywhere in the world. Very powerful court we have, Supreme Court. However, it functions within the limitations imposed by the Constitution. But ये function करती है Constitution. देखिए, sometimes it is a contradictory कि Constitution को amend किया जा सकता है कि नहीं किया जा सकता. Once it was there when you will go to the 12+2 के अंदर कि Constitution को one says Constitution को amend नहीं किया जा सकता. But 2/3 majority से Constitution में amendment लाया जा सकता है. 2/3 majority से. So, however, it functions within the limitation imposed by the Constitution. The function and the responsibility of the Supreme Court are defined by the Constitution. The Supreme Court has specific jurisdiction on the scope of powers. Supreme Court के पास भी Supreme Court has specific jurisdiction और scope of power. Specific है कि basically कि तुम्हारे पास Supreme Court के पास ये judgment करने के अधिकार है. Supreme Court, for India, it can give the order, but not for other countries. Suppose Pakistan में होता है Supreme Court, हमारे इंडिया का वहाँ पे कोई दारोमदार नहीं है. तो jurisdiction of Supreme Court of India, number 1 is और
जैसे fundamental rights है, ये सिर्फ High Court में होगा, Supreme Court में?
No, बिल्कुल, you can direct go to Supreme Court also. Suppose you are not satisfied with the High Court, you want to go only for the fundamental rights. You can go directly to the Supreme Court. Okay, look, my fundamental right is not being given to me. This is my fundamental right.
Fundamental rights district court में भी हो सकता है.
Yes, anywhere can हो सकता, कहीं पर भी हो सकता. But if this is your choice, you can go directly to the Supreme Court also. Fundamental rights are very essential. This is, you are fundamental citizen of India. So they have given some rights to you. So directly you can appeal to Supreme Court. If you are not satisfied with the High Court or the lower court, you can go directly to the Supreme Court. But in other matter, you have to go one step by step. But if the fundamental right is not there, your vakil says that your fundamental right has not been given to you, you can direct go to approach to the Supreme Court. Okay. Now, first is original jurisdiction. It settled dispute between union and state and among other states. यूनियन न्यू दिल्ली जहां पे यूनियन गवर्नमेंट बैठती है वो यूनियन गवर्नमेंट हमारे पास दो गवर्नमेंट है ना बेसिकली यूनियन गवर्नमेंट स्टेट गवर्नमेंट है लोकल गवर्नमेंट ब्ला 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 बट यूनियन गवर्नमेंट और स्टेट गवर्नमेंट मेन दीज आर टू गवर्नमेंट तो कभी कभी क्या होता है यूनियन गवर्नमेंट के साथ स्टेट गवर्नमेंट का झगड़ा होता है where the same party is not ruling it. For example, Punjab Congress is there, but in center BJP is there. दोनों में कन्फ्रंटेशन होती है राइट सो सेटल डिस्प्यूट दोनों में डिस्प्यूट को सेटल किया जाता है किस किस में बिटवीन यूनियन एंड स्टेट एंड अमंग अदर स्टेट्स आल्सो क्लियर नंबर 1 नंबर 2 देयर इज रिट व्हाट यू मीन बाय रिट सुप्रीम कोर्ट क्या रिट करती है रिट क्या है कि कैन इश्यू रिट ऑफ हेबस को मैंडेमेंट प्रोहिबिशन सेरिटोरी एंड co-warranto to protect the fundamental rights of individuals. We will discuss one by one. What are these all? हाँ, ये वो हम एक के बाद एक हम इसको डिस्कस करेंगे. So, special power can grant special leave to an appeal for any judgment or matter passed by any court in territory of India. Supreme Court किसी भी हाई कोर्ट के जजमेंट को वो स्टे कर सकती है रोक सकती है चाहे वो चीफ जस्टिस ऑफ सुप्रीम कोर्ट सॉरी हाई कोर्ट से क्यों ना दिया गया हो फॉर एग्जांपल सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने किसी को फांसी की सजा दी दोबारा भी उसको फांसी की सजा दी अब राष्ट्रपति उसको आजीवन में बदल सकता है राष्ट्रपति के पास बट समटाइम राष्ट्रपति ऑल्सो टेक्स द एडवाइस ऑफ सुप्रीम कोर्ट इट इज नॉट हिज डिस्क्रिशन कि किसी को भी माफ कर दे कि वो सुप्रीम कोर्ट से सलाह लेता है कि इसको माफ करना ठीक रहेगा अदरवाइज बेसिकली once upon a time it was lot of people they were given life imprisonment during some Rashtrapatis tenure. I will let you know that was a lady one women Rashtrapati was there. I will just a question for you. Right? Tries appeals from lower courts in civil, criminal, and constitutional cases. Then advisory case. Advise the president on the matters of advisory क्या होता है कि advise करता है किसको president को president को advise किया जाता है किसी particular matter के ऊपर advisory committee. Then we have the writ petition and also these all things are for the jurisdiction of Supreme Court. Now, one by one. What do you mean by original jurisdiction? Original jurisdiction means cases then that can be directly considered by the Supreme Court without going to the lower courts. Before the form of the diagram above, you will notice that the case involving federal relation go directly to the Supreme Court. फेडरल के साथ स्टेट के साथ कभी झगड़ा होता है वो डायरेक्ट सुप्रीम कोर्ट के साथ जाते हैं बिकॉज स्टेट के पास अपना हाई कोर्ट है तो किसको मानेगा सपोज पंजाब के साथ हरियाणा का झगड़ा चल रहा है सपोज तो पंजाब इज हैविंग इट्स ओन कोर्ट हरियाणा इज हैविंग आल्सो ओन कोर्ट वेयर दे विल सेटल द डिस्प्यूट पंजाब will say no Haryana I will not go Haryana why to Haryana Haryana will say against the Punjab so they don't go directly that's लेडी राष्ट्रपति नामक डॉक्टर प्रतिभा पाटिल याद है क्या प्रतिभा पाटिल उसके जमाने में बहुत सारे केस राइट सो दैट इज इट सो बिफोर दैट फ्रॉम द डायग्राम above you will notice the cases involving federal relation to go directly to the supreme court जो जब स्टेट टू स्टेट में जो डायरेक्ट में झगड़ा होता है तो डायरेक्ट वो सुप्रीम कोर्ट में जाते हैं वो कभी स्टेट में नहीं जाते then Supreme Court, the original jurisdiction of the Supreme Court established it as the umpire in all disputes. umpires. If you have heard the umpire name in cricket, third umpire, whatever decision is given by the third umpire, that is accepted by two umpires on the ground. Earlier, it was not third umpire because there was no TV and all. Minutely, they cannot decide what is happening over there. Now, third umpire is there. So, Supreme Court is just behaving like an umpire. Their decision is accepted by any court, by the court, by the lower court. Lower court means all the high courts. Right. So, time is over. Okay. How could you know time was over? Recording, recording. The original jurisdiction of the Supreme Court establishes an umpire in all dispute regarding federal matters. In any federal country, legal disputes are bound to arise between the union and the state. I told you just now, when India is a federal country and it has a federal structure, right? And union government is a powerful government. Union government is a powerful government, and but they give all other power to the other to distribute its power so that union government should not be dictator. So the power is being divided. So it is written that in any federal country, legal disputes are bound to arise between the union and the state and among the other states themselves. The power to resolve such cases is entrusted to the Supreme Court of India. So ये जो है ना, जो sometimes this type of disputes are there where the states are not satisfied with the union government, they go to the directly to the Supreme Court. It is called original jurisdiction. It could be a question for you in the final examination. What do you mean by original jurisdiction? Because the Supreme Court alone has the power to deal with such cases. When there is a dispute between state to state, they can directly go to the Supreme Court. Then neither the High Court nor the lower court can deal with such cases, nor the High Court, because they will not say when there is a dispute between two courts. One is a state, B is a state, A is also having High Court, B is also having High Court. So two High Courts are there. How could they can settle the disputes? So they can go to directly to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court not just settle disputes, but also interprets the power of the union and state government as a laid down in the constitution. Or whatever the written in the constitution on that particular direction, they used to go for they used to settle the dispute. Then we have got the writ jurisdiction. Tomorrow I will go for the writ jurisdiction.